Hey guys, welcome to the Tailgate. On this episode, we're going to be making some Western bacon burgers and talking Week 13 football. Hey guys, welcome back. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Armando. I've been in the fantasy sports industry for several years now. You can find my work at footballdiehards.com. I'm the host of the Chalk Talk podcast, and I run the 1 week season Twitter handle. We created the show to combine three of my passions: sports, grilling, and craft beer. Each week, we'll be grilling a new recipe and naming our MVB, most valuable beer. This week's MVB, Free Dive IPA. Cheers. Let's get into the lock of the week. Carolina heads to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucs this week. A game where Carolina is giving 4 points even though they're on the road and have been a bad road team this year against the spread. That said, they're a superior team to the Bucs, and this is a game where they should dominate completely. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games against Tampa Bay and 8-2 overall. This is a game after losing last week that the Panthers should bounce back and have a big game, win easily on the road against an inferior Tampa Bay Bucs team. Let's head on over to the bargain bin. The first player I want to talk about this week is Gus Edwards at 4,800 against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta has done a terrible job against the run this season, allowing 4.9 yards per carry. They've also allowed 160 plus total yards to opposing running backs and 14 total touchdowns. They're giving up the second most DraftKings points per game to the position as well. Edwards has gotten at least 17 touches in each of the last two games, and he's turned that into over 100 rushing yards in each of those games. Last week, Alex Collins didn't play, and Edwards saw 22 rush attempts. This week, it's uncertain if Collins is going to play, but even if he does play, Edwards has done a good enough job as the running back for this Ravens offense to earn himself a solidified role. At this cheap price, give me all of the Edwards against a very weak Atlanta defense. The next player I want to talk about is Lamar Miller at 4,600 against the Cleveland Browns. This is a really good situation for Miller as the Texans should be playing with a lead here. He gets a Browns defense that's allowing 110 rushing yards per game, 4.7 yards per carry, and the third most rushing touchdowns to the position. When you look at Miller, he has at least 18 carries and 100 rushing yards in 3 of the last 5 games. Good volume, good game environment at a very cheap price in an offense that should score plenty of points here. Give me all of the Miller at 4,600 as a great bargain this week. Last guy I want to talk about this week is Josh Reynolds at 4,900 against the Detroit Lions. Coming off a bye, Reynolds should be prepared for this game, and he might get coverage from Nevin Lawson, who grades out below average on ProFootballFocus.com. Without Cooper Kupp on the field in the last 2 games, Reynolds has scored 3 touchdowns and has totaled over 120 yards, catching 9 of 13 targets. At this price, considering the game script, the game environment against a weak opponent, he should do really well. And when you look at this high-powered Rams offense, it just makes too much sense to play him at this cheap, low price. It's Chalk Talk time. I expect Christian McCaffrey to be very popular this week, especially after his last week performance where he erupted for over 100 rushing yards and 100 receiving yards in that game. This week he draws a very good matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who've allowed the second most rushing touchdowns and are giving up over 30 DraftKings points per game to the position. McCaffrey torched this defense only several weeks ago for over 150 yards combined, 5 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. At 8,800, he is a little bit pricey, but considering his usage, his efficiency, and his work in the red zone, he just makes so much sense. So this is chalk that I think is good, and chalk I'm willing to eat. Eat that chalk. Kareem Hunt draws a very good matchup this week against the Oakland Raiders and comes at a fair price at 7,800. My biggest fear here is that the Kansas City Chiefs are 15.5 point favorites against a really inferior team in Oakland Raiders. Hunt is in a dream situation because the Raiders struggle against the run, they're a bad defense, and he has just been so good all season long. Very involved in this offense in the run game and the passing game. One of the best offenses in the league. However, I do think that this is a blowout potential game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I do think that they're going to beat the Raiders by a good amount. Therefore, I don't know if we're going to see 4 quarters of Hunt, making him a really, really risky pick this week. And if he's going to be chalk, this is chalk. I'm going to fade because of that reason. Alright guys, that's all the time we had this week. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend, subscribe below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Good luck to everyone this weekend, and we will see you next week. Mouth watering.